Hello everybody, welcome back to Screen Stars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2019 science fiction drama Synchronic, a film that is directed by Justin Benson and Aaron Moorhead, who also brought us The Endless, which came out a couple of years ago and was a really fun kind of science fiction horror film, that one. And this film stars Anthony Mackie and Jamie Dornan. And it focuses on these two characters who are New Orleans paramedics, and while they're out doing their job they notice that there seems to be a new drug on the market that seems to be having an adverse effect on the youth of New Orleans. There's some really weird deaths that are taking place that essentially don't make sense. Now, Anthony Mackie's character is diagnosed with like a brain tumour, which he obviously, has a huge effect on his life, and he's not sure how he's going to tell Jamie Dornan, who's his best friend. Jamie Dornan's married with a daughter, and his daughter ends up taking this experimental drug, which is called Synchronic, and goes missing. After a little bit of experimenting, Anthony Mackie discovers that this new drug has been developed, and in the adolescent brain, when it's not fully developed, it could actually alter time itself. And with his new brain tumour, he has to figure out a way of trying to find Jamie Dornan's daughter. Right, so essentially this film is a time travel film with told in a quite unique way. I'm not gonna lie. I really enjoyed this film, actually. I thought it was exceptional at times, a little bit pretentious in others, and slow at times as well. It's a bit of a mixed bag probably for some, this, but I always like a science fiction film, especially time traveling science fiction film, that tries to throw a curveball and twist it a little bit and make it interesting and fun. And this, for the most part, I think does. It adds something new to this kind of science fiction genre story. Anthony Mackie and Jamie Dornan are really good, are exceptional in their parts here, of these two best friends who are these paramedics. Their friendship feels genuine. It feels like they've known each other a long time. And I really bought their chemistry. At times they argued, at times they were supportive, all the things you would expect from like the best friends. When his daughter goes missing, Jamie Dornan's, there's a huge gap in his life, and then there's a little bit of a gap in the film where you kind of like, where's this film going now? And then it's almost like they didn't know how to move it to the next phase, and then up pops this scientist who created this new drug, Synchronic, to explain exactly what it is and what it does in the adolescent mind. And that bit felt really convenient. It was basically just to move the film along because they didn't know how to get to the next stage. And then Anthony Mackie decides to experiment with the drug, and that's when again this film comes alive, because he discovers he can time travel. And he does all these experiments in his apartment. Different points in the apartment will put you at different points in time, right back to the Ice Age, some swamps like 200 years ago, into the American Civil War. I mean, fascinating stuff, really. And he just continues to experiment because he's convinced this is what has happened to Jamie Dornan's daughter, and he's trying to figure out exactly where she took this drug and where she could have disappeared to, so that he can recreate her steps and trying to find her. So that's what carries the film forward in the third act, if you like. It is excuse me, a little bit of a slow burn, this film, for some. It's not action packed in any way, really, shape or form. There's some heavy dialogue scenes, I suppose you could say, but they're delivered really well by the lead performers. You really feel the loss of Jamie Dornan and his wife, with the daughter going missing and things like that. You really feel this brain tumour and how it's affected Anthony Mackie's life, and ultimately it does kind of lead to a somewhat predictable end, as I guess again you could argue. So it's a really nicely put together film with great performances, but there are levels of it that I think harm it, like the huge exposition scene with the scientist. The slow pace of it will bother some. The somewhat predictable end, and at times you could argue that the film does get a little bit deep and a little bit pretentious with some of the conversations and dialogue scenes that we get. But I really quite enjoyed this one. I really enjoyed the last film they made, The Endless, and I'm sure I reviewed this on the channel, The Endless. I thought that was a fascinating film that provoked an awful lot of thought. I don't think this is on the same level as The Endless in regards to how thought-provoking it possibly is, but it is certainly another film that highlights the potential of these two filmmakers, the directors Justin Benson and Aaron Moorhead. I think they are filmmakers on the rise, and I think they're only going to get better and better. And it speaks volumes that they managed to get Anthony Mackie and Jamie Dornan in this film, I think, because these guys are, certainly Anthony Mackie is a pretty big name. So I'm going to give this one an 8 out of 10. I'm not going to lie, I really enjoyed it, but I do understand there are probably some out there that won't enjoy this just as much, but it is certainly worth checking out if you like good sci-fi, you like a good time travel film, certainly one that's done particularly well, and I think this one is. So that is my review for Synchronic. I hope you liked it. I hope you found the review useful. If you did, don't forget to click the like button. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe, and of course I will be back on Screen Stars with lots more content very, very soon.